Hello and welcome to Legacy Lane. Today, Legacy Lane presents Who Is We-ila, All You, God whose blood and clay formed humans. The story of We-ila is very old. It is a story that comes to us from a time long before our own. It was written not on paper, but pressed into tablets of wet clay. These tablets tell a tale from ancient Mesopotamia, a land that rested between two great rivers. The story is part of a grand poem known as the Atrahasis epic. It is a creation myth, one of the first we know about. It seeks to answer one of the oldest questions: where did we come from? This tale offers an answer that is both beautiful and brutal. It is a story about God's work, a profound sacrifice. Who was We-ila? He was a god, one of the lesser gods known as the Igigi. Other gods ruled the skies, others the deep waters, but We-ila's domain was thought itself. The epic says he had intelligence, a god who has sense. This was his defining feature. In the celestial hierarchy where powerful gods made grand decisions, We-ila listened. He understood. His role was not to command, but to know. This wisdom would ultimately seal his fate. His name is a clue. We-ila, Au Ilu, echoes the Akkadian Awilum, man. Some call it intentional wordplay, a linguistic bridge linking the god to mankind. On some tablets he is Geshtu-i, ear, mind, perception, wisdom, understanding. Before his final moments, We-ila's life was service, a thinking being in a world of toil. The story of humanity's creation begins not with a divine wish, but with a divine problem. In the beginning, there were only gods. The Anunnaki lived lives of ease. The lesser gods, the Igigi, toiled for centuries, digging canals, dredging rivers, maintaining the cosmos. They worked day and night. Their hands blistered, their spirits broke. After 40 long years, they rebelled, burned their tools and marched on Enlil's dwelling. They surrounded his temple and demanded an end to their suffering, a crisis in the divine order. The work had to be done, but the workers refused. The great gods were alarmed. Enlil was furious, eager to punish the rebels. Enki, clever god of wisdom and fresh water, proposed a different path. Create a new being to bear the workload, to dig the rivers and maintain the land. The gods agreed. A mortal laborer would be made to free the Igigi and bring peace. But earth alone would not suffice. To understand commands, to have life, it needed something more, a divine element, the flesh and blood of a god. The council of the gods had made its decision. Humanity would be created to bear the universe's work. To give this being life and spirit, a god must die. The choice fell upon We-ila. Why him? The epic says he was the one who has a mind, intelligent. Some versions suggest he had the scheme, perhaps even led the rebellion. His death was sacrifice and punishment. The great gods assembled, seized We-ila, and held him fast. He was not killed in anger, but as a solemn rite for creation. The texts state the gods slaughtered him. His blood was collected for the making of the first humans. This act is central to the myth, forging a bond between gods and humanity. Humans are not mere mud. They are formed from the essence of a divine being. A piece of the divine exists in every person, a connection to the sacred realm. The death of We-ila solved the gods' labor and granted humanity the gift of mind. With the sacrifice of We-ila complete, the next stage of creation could begin. The task fell to the mother goddess, Nintu Mami Ninhursag, goddess of birth, divine potter. She took We-ila's flesh and blood, and clay from the earth, the body of primordial Mother Earth herself. The ingredients for humanity were ready. The mother goddess began her work. She mixed clay with his flesh and blood, a profound symbol of our dual nature. Mortal and fragile like clay, yet infused with divine life and spirit. To the sound of drums, she shaped life like a potter at her wheel. She formed 14 in the first batch, 7 male and 7 female, laid out in pairs. Incantations were recited, umbilical cords severed, the clay animated by We-ila's blood began to breathe. The first humans were born. Their purpose was clear: bear the load of the gods. They would dig canals, maintain rivers, and provide food for the gods. Thanks to We-ila's sacrifice, they could understand, solve, and organize. The story of We-ila and the creation of humanity is tied to a specific place, Shuruppak, home of Atrahasis, the exceedingly wise flood survivor, one of the oldest, most sacred cities. Here, the stories of creation and the flood were told and retold, then pressed into clay. Today, Shuruppak is Tel Farah in Iraq's Al-Qadisiyah Governorate, near ancient Nippur on an Euphrates channel. Its mud brick crumbled back to earth, forming a low tell, a bump on the vast plain, awaiting rediscovery. Excavations began in the early 20th century and continue today. The earliest layers date to Jemdet Nasser, around 3000 BC, an urban center nearly 5 millennia old. Shuruppak flourished for 1,000 years, then was abandoned around 2000 BC. Artifacts reveal a sophisticated society: rulers, scribes, artisans, farmers. Finding Shuruppak gives We-ila's myth a tangible home and context. Real rivers, difficult land, organized labor, a story born from lived reality. These are the physical remnants of the world that birthed the narrative. Hundreds of cuneiform tablets and fragments were unearthed. Records, schoolbooks, literature. They show a society preoccupied with order, accounting, and temple-state function. Irrigation, harbors, walls, homes, public buildings across 220 hectares. A vast, organized city. The name We-ila fascinates scholars. It is not Sumerian, but Akkadian, shaped by Akkadian-speaking scribes. The name sounds like Awilam, man or person, a deliberate wordplay. Across tablets and times, spellings shift. We-ila, Ilawela, Au-ilu, Gesh-tu-i, ear, wisdom, understanding. Different scribes emphasized man's link or profound wisdom. The core idea stays central. Whether called We-ila or Gesh-tu-i, he is the wise god whose blood and spirit animate the first humans. The shifting names reveal love for wordplay and hidden meanings, connecting ideas through language. A poetic hint to remember the god's role. The story of We-ila is more than an ancient myth. It is a foundational idea with a long legacy. A quiet hero, his blood in our veins, his mind our ability to think, an intimate connection to the divine. We are made from a god's substance, lives with sacred dimension and purpose. A sacrificed being whose body and blood give life. A theme echoing through many myths and religions. Here, the divine element is literal flesh and blood, an early, direct expression of our complex nature. Life is a gift paid for with sacrifice, a responsibility we inherit. The myth mirrors Mesopotamian hierarchy and justifies toil as cosmic duty. We-ila's power is intelligence. His legacy is sacrifice, linking divine mind and human mind. It reminds us of the cost of creation, the burden of consciousness, and the sacred spark within every human being. Thank you for joining me today on a walk down Legacy Lane. Join me next time as we continue to explore the stories that shaped the world. Until then, take care and keep walking in your own legacy lane.